Hello, hi, and welcome again to the Terminal Podcast, where in the end, it's all about the numbers. This is a show about baseball when in season, and even when it begins, it's not always baseball season. I'm your host, and we are broadcasting high above the Civic Center Station in downtown Atlanta. And tonight, class was scheduled, but I've canceled it to play with some of my new toys and to talk by myself for a little bit about some of the things. I was, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that OJ Simpson died today. And the trivia question for this, I'll start and maybe come back to it towards the end. But the trivia question for tonight is since the actual death of this Detective Norberg from this was part of the beginning of it with yeah, you can look it up. We were going to close with the story of OJ. Uh, from the 444 album, Jay-Z starts the track with its purpose sort of laid out, which is light nigga, dark nigga, poor nigga, real nigga, rich nigga, poor nigga, house nigga, field nigga, still nigga. I saw the video for it the first time today, and I can see why Rolling Stones said it was the best music video of 2017. It depicts well-known stereotypes. It takes the whole Sambo look and plays with different views of it, but at the end of the day, it's the same. The first verse is "I'm not black, I'm OJ," which is something he actually said. I was, around to hear him say that, and it's not just say it; it's believe it. It's it's honestly, you're looking at the man and going, "Yeah, no, this is exactly what he thinks." Um, the question goes back to Rolling Stone because they also rated this video on their list of top 150 best rap videos of all time, according to Rolling Stone. So where did this video rank is the trivia question. Uh, the answer will be in the description for the next episode, which here's a tease will actually be a NHL hockey preview. I'm missing my university, the people that gave me one of those diplomas. They are currently playing in the Frozen Four against Denver, and the hated up the Com Ave Flying Eagles of Boston College are in the nightcap. So yeah, random hockey knowledge, but I'm going to take my hockey knowledge and use it for a preview for everybody who's interested. That's what's called a tease in the business we call show. And this is the show that I wanted to I wanted to show, which is my view. And my views on some of the cards that are in the University of Dope, and that was part of the reason why I wanted to cancel class today. I wanted to look over some of the questions. Um, these are three of the questions that I didn't put out to the scholars. They're just questions that I had, and I'll able to go off on these on my own. The first one is best rap story. Uh, as a genre, there's so many. It's the best of these four, but it's if you're immediately I'm going to One Love by Nas and other ones, which was the one I was going to use as a transition. But uh, the four for this card is Murder Was the Case by Snoop Dogg. I Got a Story to Tell by Big. You Got Me by The Roots and Children's Story by Slick Rick. Um, it's really, you could argue, I don't think you could argue Murder Was the Case, but that's just me. And you could argue that the Roots isn't truly a story, except the first verse is, and the second verse is sort of a conversation, and the last verse is a dictation about what the first two verses were. But whereas I got a story to tell. The whole song is a story. Children's story. The whole song is a story. Um, so children's story is one of the first rap songs that I could quote that story. You know, I don't know where you would quote these as you're walking to random places in northern New Jersey. That was one of the things I would do. Um, I mentioned Mos Def because he has a remix version of Children's Story on his. There's no, I guess, opus. Is that one of the words we could use to describe Black on Both Sides by Mos Def? It is the album that has provided the platform for the belief and the standard that he is a top 10 MC because of that album. There are other cuts and things like that, but no one would, you could, everybody's got to shine here and there, but it's that album that it's like, all right, he is a top MC. And the, he was famously, one of the famous stories I have is I'm working at a radio station in Portland, Oregon, and I'm friends with the I guess my boss and but not the guy who gave me my job, but the music director at the time, and I'm gonna forget his name. But he we were able to get concert tickets. I saw Smashing Pumpkins, I believe, which was their last US show, and this was 2001 in Portland in a an in city plateau of hosting 2,000 people. For it was supposed to host an orchestra, I want to say, but either way, saw Smashing Pumpkins there. I don't remember the show because I'm not a big Smashing Pumpkins fan, and I'm probably saying the band wrong, but it was their last US show. He was able to get tickets, obviously, because he's a music director at a radio station in a major metropolitan city. So I knew that uh Mos Def and Talib Kweli, and what turns out, I guess, is the Spit Kicker tour was coming to Portland, and I was knew it from jump. I was gonna buy tickets myself, and he's like, "Nope, you know what? I got you." And I'm like, "All right, you sure?" And I kept saying it, and I kept going. You know what? I might just get these tickets anyway because he's gonna mess this up, and I'm gonna be very upset about it. But he's like, "You know what? I got you." And I'm like, "Well, if he's gonna get me, I'm gonna be able to get some tickets that's gonna get me somewhere." First off, I'm not gonna pay for tickets. Anybody knows me, that's plan A. But I'm gonna get, hopefully you'll be able to shake a hand, maybe something like that, and meet some people. It's not a famous backstory, but I have interviewed Goody Mob back when they were promoting on yeah, this is memory. But Outkast was promoting their AT Alien album, so then Goody Mob would have been promoting Soul Food, and I got on a bus there. So, and I was just a college reporter at the time. So, if I actually work at a radio station now and I've got free tickets, I've got some sort of pull, I might be able to get backstage and talk to somebody. Who knows where that goes? Either way, that was my thinking as opposed to just buying the ticket. So I didn't buy the ticket. And of course, we wouldn't be having this story if he had come through, which he did not come through. So I'm able to lament on this podcast with my new microphone and wondering how good this sounds. But um, I know what the view looks like, at least on my screen. Um, the point of the story was on that tour at that time was a producer who had, working on it, named Kanye West, was named Kanye West at that time, at the very least. And then one of the questions that I was not one of the questions listed, but I'm stealing this, is because it's four choices for the best Kanye album. And I'll name the other three, which aren't the winners, which are in order. My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, 808 and Heartbreaks. This is the transition into, and for people who get canceled, can we Can we? There's a whole question, and this might be what Chris is talking about in terms of who can who can't get canceled. Um, where are we with Michael Jackson? And it seems like there's a generation that has forgotten or weren't around for all the craziness that was Michael Jackson post Jackson 5, post Off the Wall, post Thriller, post Bad, because it seems like everything there we're allowing back into society. We're not questioning that. We're not questioning if you can hear, him doing the little kick step with Jermaine and everybody doing on the tangos and everything like that. That's allowed. So if that's allowed, and Off the Walls too great to not just have the music of Quincy behind somebody just as an instrumental as you're shopping in your JC Penney, as I was told my music sounded like by my child. But um yeah, so if that's okay, and we're allowing some type of cancel, can we then, as I trek all the way back, can we therefore then allow College Dropout and Late Registration and Graduation as Kanye West albums and not Ye and whatever his why, I guess. I don't know. I stopped listening around, there's a break point. I want to say it's soon after Watch the Thrones and Otis and everything like that. I was on board for those songs really, but he's already lost. He describes who he's going to be on College Dropout and on Late Registration. It is his best album, period. It's his best album because we was a whole conversation about Common before. Common has a song on Late Registration with Gil Scott Heron as the chorus and uh, his poetry, another Chicago born. It's it's one of his best. It's without a doubt the best Brandy musical release as far as an auditory, as far as a listening quality, as far as just being worth listening to. Yeah, I'm not the biggest Brandy fan, but her chorus and on the Kanye Late Registration, I don't even know the song because I'm not going to sing. This might be good, but it's not going to be able to pick up me singing her part any good. Certainly not going to pick it up as good as she did. It's certainly what Jamie Foxx as a singer is going to be recalled for. He did drop a couple of albums. He does have a couple of songs. If you want to look up Jamie Foxx's discography of what he's put out as an artist, but number one's going to be Gold Digger. It's just what it's going to be. So that's three different artists that I've just said that one of their best, if not their best, is on his album. I haven't even gotten to his stuff. You know, the fact that Jay-Z and Nas and at the peak in the prime of their careers are on this album. Nas is so ingrained in this album, and I can't describe this because he's on We Major. He has a verse on it, but there's another song where he's just doing the chorus. So it's like Nas showed up at the studio and heard Kanye doing something and heard it so good, he just wanted to be on the track. He's not listed on the track doing the chorus, but if you know Nas's voice, he's on the chorus. And then he's on We Major, and it starts with, I heard the beat and I didn't know what to write. That's the kind of production Kanye's doing out at this time. It's worthy of, and it's some of his best. And you know, that's his best album. I don't subscribe to all this other stuff, no. That's his best album. That's some of his best work. There's other songs and stuff like that, but as a collection, and the whole thing is an album from start to finish, from the beginning to the traveling through and everything like that, and the peaks and the valleys, like it kind of brings you up, and then there's a break and it kind of slows down to then come up to Gold Digger, and then it slows down again towards it's when you're able to put an album on and go start to finish. There's very few of those. Low End Theory is off off dome, I could say that. Illmatic is, another one of those. Everybody's got their own. It's for every musical genre as well, where you just put it in and you're not touching it. You're not touching, I'm just gonna play this from start to finish. Late registrations like that. For me and for anybody who's got ears and has an appreciation for music, in my opinion, because that's what we can all put in there, IMO, right? Uh the last question I'm going to do before I look off, because the other part of it was to just sort of see the change in the light and the way this camera's gonna be able to pick up both the BOA building on the left, the Bank of America building, and 7585, which is running real clear ever since uh, about 6:30. Everything kind of clears up. You're looking at a maybe 2 minute delay. There's probably some slowdown as we get around towards the Grady Curve that's heading southbound towards. I'm sorry, I'm just going back in radio mode. The third and last question, I'm going to do this one. And this was why I kind of trying to move away from these questions, which is the choose the best movie for the culture from the following: Dead Presidents, Menace to Society, Baby Boy, and Dope. Dead Presidents, I know for the soundtrack, because that has Sly and the Family Stone and Isaac Hayes, I want to say, are right at the top. And there's a couple other tracks, and it's this that's a soundtrack that I'll put on and run from start to finish. I know the face mask, the paint that they put over the face of Lorenzen Tate. I want to say that's his movie. I I say that because I've not really seen the movie. I didn't see it then when it was out at the time. I haven't have no desire to see it now. So I can't really speak to that. This besides, if you want to speak to the culture of the soundtrack and what that brought about, maybe the fact that they could make a black bank robbing film in a positive light in the mid 90s was not what they were trying to do. So maybe they were. Once again, haven't seen it, can't say. But Menace to Society, I saw that once, and that was way back when. And I know I laugh now because when I think of Menace to Society, I think of when, trying to remember the song, but it's the other half of Prime with Royce the 5'9" and Primo, or DJ Premier, is Prime, but Royce has a song with Eminem in which he says, "Menace to Society, I feel sorry for your mother," which is me adding an accent to the Asian caricature that was in Menace to Society of a storekeeper who says that. It's not even under his breath. There's a gangster in the movie. These two gangsters are all coming in here, and this one kid's got a gun on his belt and everything like that, and he buys a pack of smokes or something like that with disrespect to the shopkeeper. This is in the movie, and in this movie, this Asian shopkeeper turns and barely there's it's audible. He doesn't even say it in his native language. He says it in English. He says, "I feel sorry for your mother." And of course, that sets off, as it would anybody, the little kid with the gun, hence the menace to society. "I feel sorry for your mother" is the only part of the culture that I could describe to it. I mean, like I said, I saw it. It was one of those films where, young black kid does bad. I've lived in enough of that to know it and not feel the need to watch it on screen. I haven't seen Baby Boy. I want to say that's Tyrese, black, bald head, or something like that. Never a fan of his, because Tyrese yeah, he was on that model show. Yeah, no, I was gonna say Ty that is the way I feel, and I've not seen Dope. and that looked like it was taking the crack game and taking it to a better direction, at least film wise. But I say that parenthetically because once again, haven't seen the film. So that was what I was starting to look in some of these cards that I had based off of the University of Dope, which is a disrespectful game um for hip hop lovers. And as I've kind of shown, hopefully, that I am a fan of it, but I did love the disrespectful part of it and understand that I don't know who mine is right now, but your favorite rapper is trash. It was nice having people to back me up. I plan to have people back me up um, for that sooner rather than later. But yeah, it is nice. It's a nice shot of BOA when it lights up like that. Um, I'll go through the trivia question. We started with OJ and his death, and we will end with the actual death of Detective Norberg. Uh, we'll close with the story of OJ from, once again, 444. Jay-Z starts the track with the purpose. The video depicts stereotypes. Sorry, when I first saw the video, the first thing that came to mind was Boondocks and Riley just ripping into it. Anyway, Rolling Stone rated this video on their list, Rolling Stone, because when I think rap music, I think Rolling Stone, their list of the best rap videos of all time, of all time. So where did it rank? That's the number. The trivia answer will be in the description for the next episode. I'd like to thank anybody for listening. This was a free format and a free chance to look at the view. I hope you all find your way home safely. Same sentiment for any and all listeners. Safe travels from the terminal. Have a good night.